Hello, I'm Valerie McLennan. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. I hope you're well. This is my spiritual channel, Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual, and very funny, allegedly. If you've been following me a while, thank you very much. And as I mentioned previously, I hope you're telling your friends, your neighbours, your work colleagues, your family, people that even you don't like, whatever, might like me. Can you please share my channel? You know what to do. Just share it, like it, subscribe. Do that. Don't just listen and just swan off, as they say. I know, even the people I know very, very well. Could you do something? Thank you. Now, what else was I going to say? The new listeners, thank you. Could I ask you to please revert back and, listen to previous podcasts? It will give you a flavour of my wisdom, my wit, my storytelling, etc. Have you got a pen? Have you got a pen and a piece of paper, please? I will be offering talks in 2026 regarding spiritual laws, regarding survival kit for your mind, to get your mind in order, to let you face, as I keep saying, there's nobody on earth perfect. If we were perfect, neither you nor I would be here. We are all a work in progress, but at least if we look as if we're trying, and we look as if we're moving forward, trying to heal parts of our, whatever, and needs healed, and move forward to our best of our ability. Now, keep that pen handy, because I will be offering talks. You can either continue going through your life as you feel, if you feel perfect, continue. I'm assuming you may be interested, call me old-fashioned, you may have some interest in spirituality or in life, or you may be pondering why you're here, what's it all about anyway. All of the above. When the curveball comes, like it will, we all face challenges. What is going to get you through? Are you looking at the world through, eyes of clarity? Or have you let all of the hurt and all of the years of whatever's been going on affect your future? It's bad enough that negative situations in our past affect us at that time as we're going through. If we don't use those challenges to change and to grow, all you're doing is carrying the negativity from the past into your future to potentially ruin your future as well as the past. Now, you are the only person that's doing that, because you are the only person who thinks in your mind. I don't think in your mind. You don't think in my mind. You've got to take personal responsibility for your mind. Other people can encourage you. Other people can offer negativity. Yes, we know. It's up to each and every one of us to control our mind. What are we going to allow into our mind and what we're not going to allow into our mind? It's not a walk in the park. You have got to do the work. Now, I'm reverting slightly. I've not told you my jokes yet or my funny stories. I'm just leading you in. If you've got a pen, hold the pen, get the paper, because if you're interested in doing anything regarding your mind in 2026, get that pen. Thank you. I've got a couple of funny little stories. One was a little boy, and he ran home. He did, ran home from school, burst in the door, and he said to his mother, I'm in the school play. I'm in the school play. And his mother said, that is absolutely wonderful, son, wonderful. Who do you play? And the little boy said, I play the Scottish husband. And the mother glanced round with, quite an angry expression on her face. And she said to the little boy, you go straight back to school tomorrow morning, go straight up to that teacher, tell her that you have spoken to your mother and that your mother said that you want a speaking part. Do you get that? I know a lot of men, they say, I can't get a word in edgeways in this house. I know. Now that leads me on to another story. Do you remember the couple I mentioned previously? I've been doing this now for 3 years. 3 years. And I mentioned a couple of times the couple that I used to work with many, many years ago. One was funnier than the other, but together, one was quite chatty, the other was quite quiet, but it was hysterical. But they really got on really well, strangely, in this situation. And there was one day that she said, this is tying into that little story I just told you, and she looked up at him and she said, just sitting here wondering, some days I don't even understand how we got together in the first place. And he was working, he just kind of glanced up and looked at her and he said, "What do you mean?" I think he thought, wish I hadn't asked again. And she said, "Well, because I love to talk. I love a good conversation. I like to laugh. I'm kind of carefree. And you're not. You barely speak." Anyway, so we're sitting and we're thinking, where does this, where will this go? And then he looks up, because he was as funny as her. He looked up and he said, "Well, I know there was a note of sarcasm in your voice, but I shall ignore that at this point, and I will answer your question with the dignity that I'm hoping it deserves." He did. And he said, "We've been married 30 years, give or take an hour or two. And yes, I concur. You like to talk, I know. You like a laugh and all of the above. And I, in all of those 30 years, have been waiting patiently for any opportunity that comes my way where you take a breath and stop speaking for a minute so that I can speak." They were both as sarcastic as each other, but it was so fun. Oh, how they laughed. No, they didn't really. We laughed, and we were going, goodness sake. Anyway, that ties into that little boy in the play. You tell your teacher you want a speaking part. So anyway, that reminded me of that man. I've been waiting 30 years trying to get a word in edgeways. Have you stopped talking and take a breath for a minute? I will speak. Thank you. I know, but how many of you are sitting there and ask you never stop talking in this house and you say to me you're quiet. Well, one of us has got to be quiet. How can we both be talking at that speed? Thank you. Now, my other one, this one is about a policeman. Now, if you've been listening to previous ones, you may think this is the same joke. No, it is, yes, I agree. It's about a police officer, and it's about a car, someone driving erratic. The previous joke was about a woman. This one is about a man, and the ending is completely different to the previous joke, which means it is a different joke. Thank you. I'm glad we cleared up that point. There was a police officer. I think there was two of them in the car, and they were driving. There was this car driving ahead of them, weaving all over the road. This time it was a man, a gentleman. So they let him drive on a bit because he was weaving all over, and then they pulled him over. And the man was sitting in his car. The police officer said, "Right, sir, we're going to have to do the breathalyzer because your car was weaving all over the road, for heaven's sakes." So he said, "We're going to have to do the breathalyzer." And the man said, "Well, officer, I'm awful sorry about that, but that's not impossible. I could not do a breathalyzer at all." And the police officer said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I can't," because he says, "I've suffered very, very badly with asthma. And I would have a terrible asthma attack. And you wouldn't want that, and I wouldn't want that. And I can't do the breathalyzer. Thanking you anyway." So the police officer said, "Don't worry about it. Then we can do a blood sample." And the man said, "Oh, for goodness sake, what am I like, officer? Honestly, I can't even do a blood sample. I've got a blood problem. I do. And I could bleed to death sitting here in this car if you try even do it." No, I don't think we should even try that one. Sorry, officer. No, I know I'm terrible." So the officer said, "Okay, don't worry about it. We can do a urine test." And the man said, "Oh, you'd be really fed up with me. Honestly, you'd be really fed up. I'm diabetic. That's impossible. I can't do a urine test. I'd end up with a very, very, very low blood sugar. I know, I can't do it. Sorry." So the police officer was right. "Could you step out of the car, Sterling? No, could you step out of the car and walk along that white line?" As I said in the previous joke, I don't know if they still do this. They did 100 years ago. "Could you walk on that white line there and see if you can walk straight, perchance?" So they walk away, the police, and then look back, and the man is still sitting in the car. And they said, "I don't think you quite understood. Could you get out of the car and walk along that line?" And the man says, "It's impossible. I cannot for 1 second get out of this car and walk along that white line." And the officer says, "Hey, what's wrong now?" And he says, "Because I'm drunk." Did you expect that ending? No, neither did I. I thought it was quite amusing. "Oh, I can't because I'm drunk." You're thinking, why did you not say that at the beginning instead of go through all your blooming health conditions? Anyway, now, the other little thing I was going to share. I heard this a couple of days ago. What day is this? Yes, a couple of days ago on the radio. Now, I was only kind of half listening, so it might not be 100% accurately and factually true, but you get the gist. It was along these lines. The bit I can't remember, was it carrots? Yeah, that'll make sense in a minute. What's she talking about carrots? You'll have to wait. There was a woman, and it was like a radio programme yesterday, lunchtime, and they had said, is that important? Not really. They said, share it to give you the picture. And they were having like a phone, and it was something to do with if you make an accidental mistake somewhere. Anything embarrassing, you make an accidental, whatever, something like that. So this woman phoned in and she said, well, 5 or 6 weeks ago, don't know exactly, 5 or 6 weeks ago, it's a long time anyway, she booked her slot for Christmas for her shopping in the supermarket that she uses. So to make sure she was ahead of her game, she wanted the slot she wanted, the hour she wanted, the day she wanted, and everything precise. So it was about 5 or 6 weeks back. She booked everything. I'm not talking just about her dinner. She booked everything she needed for Christmas from start to finish in her trolley. Everything. From the turkey, as I said, to everything. So, as you know, if you order food or groceries, whatever, online, you can go back in and out up until maybe the day before, an hour before, whatever it is, adding if you forget something. So she was obviously used to, over those 5 or 6 weeks, thinking, my mince pies, I'm ad-libbing, and going back in and adding whatever she'd forgotten. So this has been going on over the 5 weeks. I forgot this. Forgot that. But the whole trolley was loaded with every single thing she needed for Christmas. I can hear you saying, no, I'm scared to listen. So was she. So am I. Loaded to the gunnels for Christmas in this one trolley. And she said the day before, so this was yesterday, the day before, she went in. This is a bit I can't remember exactly, but it was something, my point being, it wasn't anything life-changing or very, very important. It was something like a packet of carrots. This is what makes it worse. Something very trivial, like a packet of carrots, a packet of Brussels sprouts, something on that level. She looked in the trolley to put it on and realised that she'd already ordered them over the 5 weeks, because she probably ordered everything in the whole thing, shop. So she realised she'd already ordered said carrots or sprouts, whatever the wee thing was, a tiny little thing. So she deleted them. I've already ordered that one, deleted it. And when she looked, her basket was empty. I know I can hear you going, so did she. Her entire basket. Instead of deleting carrot, she deleted her entire order. Shouldn't I laugh? Well, basket was completely empty in front of her eyes. After 5 weeks, everything, not just the dinner, every single thing a woman needed for the entire festive Christmas period was in their trolley. Chook! She thought she was cancelling the carrot earner. So she said, so she was phoning into the man on the radio. So he was going, what did you do? So she said, well, I went straight on to customer service and phoned them. You won't believe this. It's been to cancel the carrots and I cancel that. Thinking there will be light at the end of this tunnel. Now, why would there be light? I'm only asking the question now. Why would there be light at the end of the tunnel? The woman knew the chances of getting a slot were so slim that she booked hers 5 or 6 weeks ago and stacked that trolley out to the gunnels because she knew there would be no slots, no drivers, and the food that she wanted would probably be gone. She stacked her trolley. So suddenly she pressed the wrong button. She thinks, no problem, I will sort this. Customer service, press the wrong button. Can you help me? No, we haven't any slots left. We have nothing. It's full. It's gone. Well, why would you book 5, 6? You knew that yourself. 5, 6. So the man said, no, what are you going to do? So anyway, she's obviously, what can she do? She's going to start getting out of the house, going to the shop, and starting to try and piece together her Christmas because she pressed the wrong button on the thing. Now, my point being, you know the way I am with automated. Here she goes. You know the way I am with automated. Everyone putting their life in the hands of a robot. They automate. Now, I have nothing against ordering stuff online. I order things online myself. Even if you were ordering groceries online, I have nothing against ordering, maybe heavy things. You don't want to lug from the shops. Maybe ordering kind of heavy stuff, whatever. Why would you order your entirety on there? Because apart from anything else, even if she hadn't deleted said carrot, and even if her order was there, and even if her order went into the delivery, for the day, who's to say we're not up to our neck in snow and the driver can't get through? Is it me? What if the weather changes? The driver's not a miracle worker. I heard a driver say this years ago. He said this, well, it was somebody I was talking to, and he said, makes you laugh at Christmas when people say, well, we can't get out because of the weather, but they fully expect us to get in. How can we get in if they can't get it in? I know my point. Drivers will be saying, thank you for saying that. I know. You're very welcome. Now, the driver, what happens if the weather changes? And her entire Christmas festive period was in that trolley. As I said, even if she didn't delete it, they couldn't bring it in. Get sick. Anyway, lesson learned. Get out if you can. Or even do it in bits and pieces. She did the whole thing. So she was getting that smart ordering, everything getting in there quite automated systems. Unless it's health related or something along those lines. I'm never ever talking about people who's got health conditions they can't get. Obviously not. I'm referring to people who just can't be bothered. Do you know? And if you just can't be bothered and that kind of thing happens, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? As I said, maybe the driver wouldn't have got in. I know you're all panicking out there. I've ordered my whole entire order. I wish she would stop. I've ordered my whole entire. What if it's snowing? See if it's snowing now, that's her. That's her fault. It's not my fault. It's because you put all of your eggs in the one basket. Literally. I know. No, anyway, she thought she shared that yesterday. I thought, she was ringing. Anyway, the phone in was something about people that make accidental errors. Well, that was quite a big one. Please, don't want the carrots now. I bet she was thinking afterwards, what would it have mattered? Because it was something trivial. What would it have mattered if I had 2 packets of carrots? Because I've already ordered about £500,000 worth of goods by the sounds of this trolley. I know. Anyway, now the other thing. Very briefly, I'm at 16 minutes. 16 minutes. Are you still listening? Oh, here you're getting better. 16 minutes, and I've got 2 minutes more. You only do 50. I know. Can I make one very brief point, which veers slightly into a more serious tone? I know I'm trying to change the expression on my face now. Do you know, this is going from one extreme to the other, I know. Do you know that I've not spoken to one person this year who's told me they're looking forward to Christmas? Which is quite unsettling and quite unnerving and quite depressing on all those levels. Not only are they not looking forward to, they are dreading it. And they are I'm repeating their words. They're wishing it was all over. Not everything. You know what I mean? Christmas. They're wishing Christmas was all over. Now, I'm talking about men, I'm talking about women, I'm talking about men and women in the workplace, I'm talking about men and women who don't even work. All different types of people in life. Some don't even work, some have retired, some are just not working, some are still working. You know, so it's across the board, so it's all different levels of people. Some working very, full-time, some working part-time, some not working at all. Younger people, middle-aged people, older people. So I couldn't even put a category on. It's across the board. Now, they're not even just saying, I can't be bothered. They're not saying I'm fed up or I can't be bothered with it. They're actually physically saying, I'll be glad when this is all over. I really haven't time for all this. I can't be bothered with it now. Remember the channel you're listening to, Spiritual Wisdom. Give me a break. Can I ask you to do just one little thing? This is just a little task to do for yourself. I know it sounds kind of throwaway lines, can't be bothered, be glad when it's all over. There's many, many people feeling that obviously the cost of living's not helping, that goes without saying, but there's so many people who are really, really had enough of this Christmas and be glad when Christmas is all over. I'm talking about quite a high level of misery, if you know what I mean. If you're feeling like that, you're obviously pushing yourself way beyond what you're supposed to be doing. I'm trying to speak quickly now, 80 minutes. Stop and listen. Your gut feeling. Don't just take it as trivial. Oh, God, so much work. I've so this, I've so that. I'll be glad it's over Christmas. See this, get back to January. Now, your gut feeling has been given to you for a reason. Your instinct has been given to you for a reason. Your gut feeling is actually screaming at you that you're working at a much higher level than you should be. You're overloading yourself and you're overwhelming yourself on many, many levels. Don't just ignore it and say, oh, it's just Christmas. It's just Christmas. It's not just Christmas. You're not doing your health any favours. Trust me, or anything to do with your energy or anything to do with life. You should really stop and think, where can I cut back on this? And on a very serious point, and a little important point that I'll leave you with very, very briefly, it is your presence, your emotional and physical presence at Christmas that makes memories that people will remember from tomorrow into their older years. Not the box with the bow, not the stuff, not the money you're throwing at everything. Some of you may not even have the finances that you're spending. Some of you may even be getting into debt over stuff over Christmas, depending who you're buying for, what you're spending. There's people on all of those levels emotionally getting into situations. It is your emotional and your physical presence that makes memories for children, for adults, for everyone. You think of in your older years, or even the year you're at now, the memories that you remember from your childhood or your middle ages are when people were around, people showed they cared, they were present in the conversation, there was laughter. People didn't have as much as they do now, but there wasn't the pressure where people are dreading it, looking forward to it being over, can't be bothered with it. People, when they had a lot less, were much happier. They were enjoying it. They were physically and emotionally present in the day. And that's what makes memories for the future. Not the box, not the bow, not the money. If you're throwing a box at somebody that you're spending money at, but you're physically, not emotionally present on the day, it means nothing. A box, what's a box going to do in the future? And it's not doing yourself any good. You're leaving your tank completely empty. You yourself won't even enjoy the day because you're probably running it empty. There's no win there. The people that want to have your company, your friendship, the laughter, your presence, none of that's going to be there because you're wanting all over. I want January. So the box with a bow means nothing. And I'll leave you with that thought. Look after each other and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.